Welcome, dear friends, to another study of the book Courage, a lovingly curated set of messages by several spirit authors through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. It's always an honor and a blessing to be with you today. And today we have chapter 39. We have this beautiful encounter with the Spirit Emmanuel. So today we're going to talk about depressions. We'll talk about things that might be bothering us. And of course, Emmanuel is going to bring to you and I ways to deal with those items in our lives. So shall we? He says, quote, if you bring in your spirit sensations of pessimism and sadness, then give yourself a break in order to reflect. If someone has offended you, forgive. If you have hurt the feelings of anyone, then reconsider your attitude. Setbacks are part of the world and they will be whatever you are. Difficult relatives are found in any family. Work is a law of the universe. Discipline is a support for education. Disappointing circumstances are like clouds which appear in any sky of any climate. Revolt in relation to pathways and decisions that one takes are obstacles and challenges in the path of those who desire balance and work. To please everyone at the same time is an impossible task. Separations and renewals represent inevitable imperatives for spiritual progress. Changes are similar to a treatment for the soul. Just like adjustments and readjustments are necessary for life. Inner conflicts reach any person who aspires to elevation. Today's failures are lessons for tomorrow's wisdom. Problems are present in existence of those who do not accept stagnation. By understanding the reality of every person who aspires to happiness, peace, improvement, and renewal, and every time that suggestions of pessimism visit your soul, let us rectify in ourselves what should be corrected. And by embracing the work that life gave us for fulfillment, let us go forward. Unquote by the Spirit Emmanuel. Friends, so many teachings these days as we see the number of incarnate beings who are suffering from depression increase. We see this reflected in the many polls, right? So many people walking around with sensations of pessimism and sadness. So this message is much timely for us to consider. This book, soon we hope to have another translation. First translation in English was 2005, but the book was originally published in 1971, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to give you the wrong 1971. So since then, we have had many things happen around the earth, and today, in the midst of the planetary transition, we can understand why in our spirit we may bring sensations of pessimism and sadness. But Emmanuel is urging us to reconsider. He says, give yourself a break and let's reflect with Emmanuel. Has someone offended you, dear friends? He says, forgive. Have we hurt the feelings of anyone? So then we have to reconsider our attitudes. The law of society dictates that you and I have to live in society in the presence and companion of others in order to progress. None of us grow up or improve or learn or live around in the world without the help of others. So, what we do can have positive or negative impact on the people lives of others. So we have to practice this mindfulness and metacognition of thinking, what did I do today that may have caused someone to be hurt? And then we reconsider our attitude and we improve, improve, improve. And then he will talk about setbacks are part of the world and they will be wherever you are. And we thought about this when we encounter a setback. Have we felt that they are part of this reincarnation? Remember, we are reaping what we sowed in the past. And of course, that is multiplied by the grace of God. But where we are today is a reflect of our choices in this life and other lives. Difficult relatives are found in any family. If we don't have one, we may be the difficult relative, right? So it's not special or unique to ourselves. Work is a law of the universe. This is important because nowadays, with the advent of devices who bring us instant gratification, be immersed in a culture of conveniences, we think life, a lot of us in the world at times think life is just about enjoyment, travel, enjoy, experience. But no, the law in the universe is a law of love, and part of loving is work, which is described to you and I in the Spirit's book as any useful activity. So wherever we are, we need to be useful to others. Discipline is a support for education. How many do not want to be disciplined? Like discipline, sounds unpleasant at times, but yields a harvest of goodness. As Paul, paraphrasing Paul, how many of us don't want to be disciplined, to have manners, to know where we are or we can? We just want to enjoy. And that's in part of our immaturity, but also in part of the cultural norms that we feel. Also, the possible manifestations and influence of the spirits around us. So we have to be very careful. Discipline is the ultimate freedom for us. Disappointing circumstances are like clouds which appear in any sky of any climate. So there will be disappointment. He says, revolt in relation to pathways and decisions that one takes are obstacles and challenges in the path of those who desire balance and work. Who does not desire balance and work? But it comes with a price. In a world where we're not all even good spirits, we're not pure spirits, we are here imperfect and improving. When we decide that we want balance and work, maybe we want less, maybe we want a simpler life, maybe we want to spend that Sunday at the Spirit Center, and others will remind us of all the many things that calls to our senses that may be more interesting in a physical point of view, but we have to think 10 years, 5 years, 15 years from now. That education I receive at the Spirit Center will be very valuable in my life, in the life of my loved ones, in the life of the children we educate. To please everyone at the same time is an impossible task. Does not mean we will not try. However, we will follow our conscience, our heart, our reincarnatory plans. So if some people get upset because we're spending 1-2 nights a week at the Spirit Center and a week or Sunday they're studying, it's up to them to come to realization. In a few books that we find, we can give an example. The book I Came Back, which was part of the translation of Kardec Creator, Vanessa Solon did a bit of a study on it. Brother Jacob worked a lot in the Spiritist movement. And then he reached the other side, and we see that he didn't have his inner light because he wasn't, even though he did a lot, he didn't develop the moral values within himself. And then in the book Memoirs of a Suicide, for example, we see the triage of spirits in the spiritual world, how we gather through vibratory attunement and how the vibratory attunement depends on what we did today. Nobody's going to ask you to show your passport and how many beautiful locations on the earth you've traveled. But we will have to give accounts of our actions and attitudes. Go read the first chapters of the book No Solar. Andrea Luis says, I did everything that the culture told me to do, and yet I found myself in the lower zones as a suicide. So we have to be very mindful so we're not swimming with the current, but the current is leading us to not improving during this blessed time of reincarnation. Separations and renewals represent inevitable imperatives for spiritual progress. How we can need to learn to detach. People come, people go. We separate, we renew, we do new activities. And he says changes are similar to treatment for the soul, like adjustments and readjustments are necessary to life. So today we are proud that we are readjusted, we have changed, we have improved than we were in elementary school, in high school, in college, for you that are old enough to be past that time. So we should be changing. He says changes are similar to treatments for our souls. But when things change, we sometimes do not want to accept. We want things to be the same. We are wired for comfort, right? We want to know some people will come, some people will go, activities will be done, others will be removed, and it's all part of growing. Inner conflict reach any person who aspires for elevation. Today's failures are lessons for tomorrow's wisdom. So when we fail, we have to reconsider, we have to analyze. It is a failure through the eyes of the spirit who is incarnated, the soul. But that failure is tomorrow's wisdom. That's when we learn, that's when we experience things. And then those failures may be different from what we consider as a society, as a group, as a failure, right? So we want to think a lot about how are we acting, how we do. We always go back to question and answer 919 of the Spirit's book, where the spirits and Augustine explains to us his routine daily of writing down, of doing an analysis of how the day went, what could he have done better. That is the reflection and the gaining of wisdom as we know. And last but not least, it says, by understanding the reality of every person who aspires for happiness, peace, improvement, and renewal, and every time the suggestions of pessimism visits your soul, let us rectify in ourselves what should be corrected, and by embracing the work that life gives us for fulfillment, let's go forward. So we keep going. Your work, your life, the work you do in the Spiritist doctrine, the work in the community, the work of helping others. We need to fulfill that because that's part of our reincarnatory plan. And then we continue, we move on, we press on. And as always, we press on with Emmanuel. Next time, we're going to learn from Emmanuel how to deal with setbacks. That is, God willing, we'll be back next week with another installment of the book Courage. Dear friend, stay well, stay safe, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.